Hey everybody, this is Brianna Rudder and I'm gonna show you how to do goddess braids.
Perfect.
So as you can see, I have 6 large pink braids in my hair. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you 2 different examples of how you can do goddess braids on your own hair for beginners. When preparing your braiding hair, make sure that you have 1 package of braiding hair per braid. This will give you a great fullness with each goddess braid on your head. So now for starters, as you can see here, I'm separating a package of pink hair and I'm going to explain how you want to do this process. So what you want to do with each package of hair is you want to split it between 1/3 and 2/3. You're going to put the 2/3 section on its own clip and the smaller third section on its own clip. Put those 2 pieces together to keep them tidy and neat. Because what you're going to do is you're going to use the larger section of braiding hair to actually braid your goddess braid. And then to extend the length of your goddess braid, you're going to use the smaller section that you're separating, as you can see here. So as you can see, this is the larger sections of hair for the braid, and these will serve for the feed-in at the ends. So this is how your hair section should look before you begin braiding. So for starters first, I'm going to be hot combing my hair. So I'm going to use a hot comb, a flat iron, and I'm also going to use a little bit of heat protectant as well. So that way my hair can be very smooth and as straight as possible. This is how my hair looks when I blow it out with a paddle brush and a blow dryer. But I have to get my roots a little bit more straight so I can have that sleek look with my goddess braids. So I'm taking a little bit of heat protectant and it's oil based, so that way it won't make my hair curl back up. And I'm just gonna smooth it all over my roots because I'm only focusing on straightening the roots of my hair. So after smoothing it in, I then brush it through with a brush to distribute the oils, and then I'm gonna use a rat tail comb to actually straighten my hair in smaller sections. So now I'm taking my flat iron and I'm mostly focusing on the roots of my hair. So I usually do about 2 to 3 passes on my roots, and then I slide the flat iron down the length of my hair. Now at this point, I'm going to use the hot comb to just focus on pressing out the roots. Now it's very difficult to get my hair bone straight because my hair is very coarse. So now I'm just going over my roots with the hot comb, just focusing on pressing out the roots of my hair. So this is how it looks right after I hot comb it. As you can see, it's not bone straight. It's very difficult to get my hair bone straight because my hair is so thick and I don't want to achieve bone straight results just to cause any damage. So now at this point, here is the pink braiding hair. This is a smaller section and this is a bigger section. Remember, we're using the bigger section for our braid, and the smaller section will be used to extend the length of our braid once you're done braiding your hair. So now I'm using my rat tail comb and I'm parting my hair directly down the center because I'm gonna have 3 braids on one side and 3 braids on the other side, giving me a total of 6 braids. With goddess braids, the style looks its best when you have large chunky braids, but of course you can do fewer or more braids. It's totally up to you. So now I'm parting my hair and I'm gonna show you how you want to do this process so that way you can have very neat parting with your hair. But right now, I'm actually loosely parting the top sections of my hair near my front hairline, so that way I can use these clips to predetermine how I want the braids to be parted. So instead of parting all the way to the very back, I'm just parting the very front of my hairline, as you can see here. This makes it very easy for you to use as a guide to know where your braids are gonna be and where you're going to part for each braid. To part my braids, I'm going to use a comb and edge control. The edge control helps you to make a very clean part on your scalp. So if you have a hard time parting very clean parts, then I highly suggest you put a little bit of edge control on your scalp, mostly on your hair. And then you're going to use your rat tail comb and you're going to part it. This is perfect for doing cornrow braids or even box braids. So when you're doing box braids, you can do the same thing. Just put a little bit of edge control near where you want the part to be. And then use the end of your comb, as you can see here, to further clean up and smooth the hair so that you can have a very sharp part. Now you can use any edge control you want, and you don't actually have to use edge control when doing this style, but it just adds a slightly more smoother look to these braids if you do use edge control in between your parts. Now that I've finished parting my hair, I'm gonna take a little bit more edge control and I'm gonna smooth it on both sides of my part where I'm going to be braiding. So as you can see here, I'm just smoothing it in with my fingers and adding more if necessary. Then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side because I wanna smooth both sides of this section of hair so that way when I braid the braid, it looks very smooth. So now you're gonna take your comb and you're going to comb how you want the very front of your braid to look. And then you're going to continue to smooth the product on both sides of your hair. So with my comb and my fingers, I'm just combing in the edge control to smooth on both sides of my section. So now I'm just gonna comb through the hair and then I'm gonna get ready to prepare it for the actual goddess braid. So you're gonna take the skinny end of your comb and you're gonna part a small section in the front because this is what you want to determine so that you can begin the placement of your braid. And the braiding hair is gonna be placed right there on my scalp. So I'm gonna show you an up close scene exactly how you want to begin your goddess braid. So now we're gonna take that larger section but divide it into two. So you're gonna split it off between a third and 2/3. Then you're gonna wrap the smaller piece around the bigger piece so that it can form 3 equal sized legs for your goddess braid. So we're gonna start off with this top section here and we're gonna place it right at our scalp. So what you want to do is make sure it's facing behind you, all of the hair, so it don't get as tangled. You're gonna grab that section in front and make sure to smooth all the hair into that front section. Now grabbing your dominant hand, you're going to rotate it around the edge of the hair and then you're gonna pinch off a little bit of braiding hair. Once you do that, you're then going to rotate your hands going counterclockwise to release the next section. So if this is a little bit confusing, that's totally fine. It's very, very difficult to get things down for the first time, but as soon as you do, it's gonna be smooth sailing from here. So I'm just gonna move the hair to the back and show you once again. You're gonna grab a little bit of hair from the side and then you're gonna rotate your other hand going clockwise. So your dominant hand rotates counterclockwise and your non-dominant hand rotates clockwise. So now we're gonna pinch off another section, as you can see here, making sure to kind of get it from the middle. So what I like to do every time I pinch my real hair is I like to locate where the middle of my section is and pinch outwards. So that way the braid is being guided directly through the center of your part. So as you can see here, you pinch off a piece from the other side and you rotate your hand to release your next section. Sometimes it's helpful to use your comb to pinch off a little bit of hair to add to your next leg of your braid. Make sure not to pinch off too much hair because you want the braid to look even as you're braiding it going back. Now, the way that I like to choose which hair gets the braiding hair is I like to think about which leg is going to overlap. The leg that's going to overlap over top of the braid is the hair that I like to add braiding hair to. So now I'm gonna rotate my hands to give me a better angle so that I can easily braid my hair. So now my left hand is to the left of me instead of it being to the right of me. So as you can see here, every time you rotate a section of hair, you wanna pinch off a little bit and you wanna put it over the braid. So as you can see here, that piece that went over now goes under. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the next side, making sure to rotate each hand going underneath. So that way I can grab a new section of hair and overlap it over the braid. So as you can even tell a little bit, you can see that my hair is actually laying on top of the braiding hair instead of underneath the braiding hair. So that way it can keep the braid tight and secured in the middle of my section. So using your index finger, you can pull up the hair to the leg on the top of your braid, and then you're gonna rotate your hands going underneath, as you can see here. So if you're having any issues trying to get the style down, I highly suggest that you watch this video multiple times and practice on a mannequin head, on someone else's head, or also on your head. So that way you can match the visual with what you feel as you're braiding your hair. Even though the style looks very simple and there's only a few braids, the technique can be a little challenging, especially if you're doing it for the first time. Because normally you braid overhanded, but when you're doing goddess braids, you actually have to braid underhanded and you have to feed the hair in a little bit differently than when you braid a traditional cornrow braid. So as you can see here, I just keep overlapping each section, making sure to twist my hands to where each section goes underneath the braid. But when you add your real hair goes over the section of hair, as you see here. So now you just rotate your hands and you just continue to braid, smoothing as you braid. So that way the braid can stay smooth all the way through. If you notice that your braid has a lot of kinks sticking out or it feels very rough in texture, you need to make sure to actually smooth your hands down the hair every time you rotate one leg over the other. So this is how the braid looks now that I finished braiding the pink goddess braid, and I'm going to show you one more example of how you can do this style. On this look, I actually mixed black braiding hair with pink braiding hair, so that way you can get another visual of how the style looks. Which style or look do you like more? Do you like it when it's all pink braiding hair, or do you like it mixed? So now what I'm going to do at this point is mix some black braiding hair with the pink braiding hair. And in this instance, I used 6 packages of black braiding hair, but I only used 2 packages of pink braiding hair. So that way I can add a little bit of pink to each braid. So as you can see here, you're doing the same positioning, making sure to smooth that first part in the middle section. Now, what you're doing is smoothing both sections out of the way so you can hook it with your index finger if your dominant hand. And then you're going to rotate the pieces about 2 times before you add your real hair. So this is a slightly different way you can braid the goddess braid. You're gonna pinch a little bit of hair on the right side, and then you're gonna add it into that leg as you can see here, and then you're gonna rotate your left hand going underneath so that you can put the new leg in your right hand. Now pinch a little hair on the left side and put it into your right hand. You're gonna grab the hair underneath and rotate your right hand going counterclockwise so you can release it. So you're going to do the same process back and forth. And I want you to continue to watch because the more you see it and the more you practice it, the easier this style gets. It's a very simple, beautiful style to do, but it's just a little bit tricky being that you have to actually braid underhanded compared to braiding overhanded. So as you can see here, you just rotate your hand going counterclockwise and then you release it into your left hand. So now I'm pinching off another section and I'm putting it into my left hand. And I use my right hand to grab the hair underneath and I rotate my left hand going clockwise. So because my right hand is dominant, I always rotate my right hand going counterclockwise and I rotate my left hand going clockwise. So that way I can grab a new section of real hair and of braiding hair to feed into the goddess braid. So as you can see here, you just add that hair and hook it with your index and then you turn your left hand going clockwise. And then you're gonna do the same thing to the opposite side, but you turn your right hand going counterclockwise. So now once you leave your scalp, you can then rotate your hands on the opposite side to make it a little bit easier for you to continue braiding. So I just let the braid go and I move it in front of me and then I just smooth it out with my hands and also with a comb. So that way the braid is smooth all the way from the top to the bottom. If you're noticing that you're having any of your real hair sticking out, then all you gotta do is get a little bit of edge control, smooth it on the ends of your real hair, and then continue braiding. Use scissors to clean up any hairs that stick out. And this is how the style looks with the pink braiding hair mixed in with the black braiding hair. If you love goddess braids, let me know and comment down below what looks you want to see next.